Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, it's been a good week here. It is November 5th, 1999.
It is.
And we watched a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different for us, but we did it.
We did it.
Let me ask you a question, Carol. Was there a quota on the number of movies made this year that had to have American in the title?
Apparently.
Are we feeling less like patriotic or something like that?
Or more patriotic, apparently.
We watched American Movie, but we've also seen American Pie and American Beauty.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, all in like a few months.
Yeah. American Movie, a documentary
Mark picked this one.
about a filmmaker named Mark.
Is that why you liked the idea of this movie?
Mark Borchardt
See,
and Mike Schenk.
I don't think anybody knows who he is. And I mean, obviously
Well,
they do
will
now.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But
the whole point. Are people supposed to know who he is? We're going to make a documentary about the gritty and independent filmmaker David Lynch.
Why do I care about David Borchardt?
Mark Borchardt.
Mark
What the
Borchardt.
fuck?
Whatever his name is.
Why do you care? Did you watch the movie?
I watched the movie, okay? And I mean,
The entirety of the movie is why you're supposed to care about him.
I'm just like, but I went because you wanted to, okay? But I didn't want to go, and I don't know why anybody would want to go, because he isn't anybody that we as a nation know or care about. I mean, he hasn't even made anything.
He made Coven or whatever the fuck.
And right there's the problem. Coven? What the hell is that? Come on. How do you title your movie something and you cannot pronounce it? Ridiculous. Like, oh, they're childhood friends and they made a movie when they were in like fucking middle school or whatever. And, now it's like they're adults and they're making movies and we're supposed to be like, oh, I'm rooting for the underdog. I don't give a shit about this dude. He doesn't even seem like a good person.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
You're just a complete front runner, huh? You root for the New York Yankees. You root for the fucking, I don't know, the San Francisco 49ers.
He needs...
You root for the Los Angeles Lakers.
He needs some kind of story. Like...
He has a story.
There's no story there.
So that's a failure of the documentarians then, if that's what you believe.
I mean, the dude, he's ordinary. He's an ordinary dude from Wisconsin.
What do you want him to be?
I don't know, but why do I want to spend 2 hours of my life thinking about him? I don't.
You didn't think there was anything interesting about him at all?
Him? No. I mean, a couple of the people that were around him were interesting.
Oh my god, like who?
The Mike guy, the
Mike Schenk
guy, yeah, the one who laughs like he has brain damage. That guy.
Yes,
he was kind of funny, and the grandfather, whatever.
Oh yeah, now that's a character you can get behind. I don't believe in anything. What do I have to live for? That's exactly what his attitude is.
He was entertaining.
Yeah, I bet he was. The poor man dying of dementia or whatever, yeah. That's the character you identified with in this movie.
I didn't identify with him.
Just think about that, Carol.
I didn't identify with him. I thought he was entertaining.
What about the Swedish mom?
She's a bitch. Total bitch. She's not nice to anybody. She never smiles hardly either.
Jag talar svenska?
What the fuck?
I know some Swedish.
Do ya?
I do. Yeah.
Good for you.
Befolken vill ha ull.
Yeah, I know some Swedish too.
Uh-huh.
but I don't know enough Swedish to talk to you anymore, and that makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Anyway, so what about the dad that is not really a part of the family anymore because if he had had more say in how the household was run, he would have been happy. Like, it makes it sound like the mom just, like, completely ran things.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, she probably did because she's a giant bitch.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I don't like her. I also don't really care for his girlfriend.
No? Joan? Or the other one that we barely see. We see the back of
Alyssa.
them having an argument. He has 3 children.
I thought he had 4.
3 kids.
Okay, well, there was 4 kids there.
At one point there was, yeah. One must have been a friend.
Okay. I was amazed when I realized that he had children. Because I'm sorry.
Come on, he's so lanky and gangly. You don't think that women would find that? That's your type usually, isn't it?
No.
Lanky, gangly, scraggly, long hair. Losers, the kind of people you dated before me.
Wow. Back it up there, sir.
Dude.
Get off my grill or whatever.
What? The fuck are you talking about? Get off your grill.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm off.
Okay. But yeah, it's weird to me that he had a relationship with a woman and she chose to have his child 3 times. Not just once, but 3 times. It's the same woman. It's not multiple different women.
No.
That I could believe.
That he would trick different women.
He could get a woman into bed at least once.
Right.
Sure. But over and over again?
Maybe he's really good at sex.
Maybe.
He's not good at making movies.
He's not good at making movies. He's not good at making money.
Actually, he's really not good at finishing movies. There were some. We see some of the early shots that he made for Northwestern. So here's the thing: the movie, this movie, this documentary is titled "American Movie: The Making of Northwestern," and it becomes the making of Coven or Coven or whatever you want to call it, because
it hurts my brain.
Because he's trying to make this movie Northwestern, but he's been trying to make it since, like, he looks to be maybe 18 in the shots that we see of, like, what he filmed of Northwestern in the junkyard and everything years ago, and he's 30 now. So, or he was 30 when they were doing the documentary. He's like 33 now.
I believe he said he'd been working on it for 4 years.
Well, he looked way younger than that.
Yeah, must have been a rough 4 years. I don't know.
Apparently, Alyssa was not kind to him, I guess. But there are some shots that we see that are pretty good shots, actually. There's like a very nice tracking shot. There's a good, what they call a cowboy shot from, it's a low angle shot from, like, you know, and it's torso, like, to about where guns would be, you know. Mm-hmm. They call that a cowboy shot. There's a nice one of that, of guys walking in the junkyard and everything. There's some decent camera work going on.
Sure.
He has some talent for filmmaking.
He has some talent. He's like Dawson, you know, except Dawson maybe finishes a movie.
No, he's not like Dawson. I mean, in the fact that they both have talent, I suppose, as like a character. We're talking about Dawson from Dawson's Creek. Check out Horny Creek if you guys want to. It's another show we do. But like, maybe they both have talent. That's one, and they're both obsessed with movies. Mm-hmm. But Dawson has like a tremendous work ethic, and this guy does not.
No.
And we get that from the very beginning, because in the very beginning of the movie, it's like a series of funny lines. Like, it's like he doesn't even realize how funny he is. He's typing up things, stilted, terrible dialogue of like, oh, dear girl, do you have any idea? Do you have any semblance? Do you have any a modicum, a little bit of understanding of the power of what you hold in your hand. And it's like, that's too much, first of all, to convey that one idea. You don't need to state it 7 times in your one thing. But he's writing a radio drama, right? And he's talking about how, like, oh, it's not even the 11th hour, which, you know, is a famous saying of, like, hey, it's almost time. It's the 12th hour, you know, and he's talking about how close it is to when they have to record this stuff. And he has people that are supposed to be, like, doing production stuff and everything, putting up scarecrows that add nothing because it's a radio performance, but, like, he wants to keep them busy.
But they use the scarecrows.
For what? No, that's
in Coven.
That's years later. This movie opens up in like 1994 or 1995. That's 96.
I think it's the same damn scarecrows, though.
It might be the same scarecrows, but those are completely different times.
Okay.
Because at the beginning, he's talking about doing a radio show, which is what they record later. But my point is, he has no work ethic because instead of being ready when everyone's there to go to record, he has his production people putting up scarecrows because he's not ready, because he's still writing the script.
Yeah.
How are you not done? Like, that's not work ethic, to be finishing the script or rushing to finishing the script like literal minutes before you're supposed to be filming whatever Night of the Creeps or Scary or whatever the fuck it was called, the radio drama that he was doing for Halloween, I guess. And then everyone's there and they're doing performances and they're awful. There's this one guy that's so, like, there's a lot of unintentionally funny things in here. But I like that apparently he must be a big fan of Spielberg too, like Dawson is, because Spielberg does this a lot in his movies. Naturalistic dialogue where one person starts speaking and then they're cut, like the other person like kind of cuts them off. They speak over them. You don't hear that much or you haven't heard that much in movies, but Spielberg does that where he intentionally writes lines where other people or a bunch of people are talking at once, and that's all this is. Like kicked out of my own king, and then like as she's saying kingdom or whatever, I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you or whatever, and like they're talking over each other and stuff, which I suppose is supposed to, and it's all of them are doing it, so it's like it's obviously written that way. And I don't know, but there's this one guy that's like, she goes, he's like, hey, or whatever, and she's like, Neil, I didn't see you there, and he's like, well then I guess surprise. And like that's how he says it. It's so fucking funny, but he doesn't mean it to be because he's just not good at acting. And Mark Borchardt, the director, is doing this voiceover, and he's like, I realized while they were recording it that I wasn't being a director anymore. There were stilted lines, and I wasn't like correcting them or anything, even though I should have, because I was smoking dope and drinking. And you just see him in a chair, just like with a smile on his face and a beer in his hand. And it's like, that's his biggest problem. Drugs and alcohol are 100%. This is almost like a cautionary tale, because as his dad says later, he was accepted into the gifted program. He obviously has some intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
And a passion for movies. And he knows a lot about how to make movies. He doesn't know enough to really make them. And he continually gets derailed because of drugs and alcohol. It's amazing how determined he is. He spent like 3 years or whatever making a 35-minute movie. A 35-minute short should take a couple months to film.
Yeah, see, I don't know if that's determination, because it's like he's just losing time. It's not like he spent 3 years working hard on that shit. He's losing time because he's drunk or high.
Right.
I honestly thought partway into the movie, I was like, oh, maybe this is about substance abuse. Maybe that's the point of this.
I honestly think that's part of it. They talk about substance abuse a lot. No one ever gives him an intervention. I think they should. And they don't delve deep into it, but I mean, you know, like Mike has a lot of stories about drugs and shit like that. The time he took liquid PCP and ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And almost died.
Well, Mike talks about how that's part of why they're friends, because this guy is the only guy that'll drink vodka with him. Like, they'll share a fifth of vodka.
Well, because, yeah, he wants to party. He's like, I used to get, so it's weird to hear him talk about being super angry or getting really happy or anything, because, like, he has the most muted emotions of any person I've ever seen, where he's like, I used to get really mad and pissed off all the time because I wanted to party hard and no one would party hard with me. It's like, I don't know how fucking hard he's talking about partying. But he's like, and then, Mark came into my life and, he had a bottle of vodka and, like, I love the way they say vodka too. He's like, so we drank vodka together, and it's like, obviously they got into like some serious drugs and alcohol together. And that's why they're friends.
Yeah. And it seems like at least Mike has brain damage.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it really does.
And didn't he quit?
He's clean now.
Yeah, he quit drinking. I don't know how he can hang out with the other dude who's like constantly fucked up. There was one time when he's like, oh, last night I was trying to call Morocco. Why would you admit this shit?
Right.
To the documentary people.
He wanted to get, what did he say? The Plaza Hotel or whatever? Yeah. At the in Tangiers.
The place where they filmed Casablanca.
Casablanca, yeah.
Does that even exist?
Yeah. I think it does. Casablanca exists, yeah, if that's what you're asking. Yes, that's a real place.
I mean,
it's in Morocco.
I'm just wondering, okay, so he's trying to call a real place, he just couldn't manage
the Hotel Tangiers or whatever. Yeah, he was trying. Now the actual hotel might not exist, but it might be, like you said. I think what he was talking about is the place where they actually filmed Casablanca. I don't think it's called that in the movie, but I think it's the real place where they filmed it. And he was trying to call them for what? To ask if anyone on staff remembered working with Humphrey Bogart fucking 50 years ago. Those people are retired or dead.
What a weirdo. Oh, and okay, I'm sorry. The one guy probably has brain damage too. That he was, jamming his head into a cupboard over and over and over.
I think that guy's name was Tom or something like that. Yeah, he was one of the leads in his movie, and he's like, yeah, we filmed this a few months ago, and this was the one shot I was hoping we got right the first time, that we didn't have to refilm or whatever. That's the other thing too, is like, part of the problem is he's refilming stuff over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess he'd have to, because it's hard to explain how you're 16 years old here and then 30 in the next shot, seeing as he takes so long to make fucking movies.
Yeah, like, stay sober for a couple months, see what you can do, sir.
That's the thing. Honestly, I feel like he would have a chance. But they made this movie, obviously, because of the rise of independent cinema. It's a huge thing with Kevin Smith. Quentin Tarantino, you could say, came from, like, the independent school, kind of, because he was working at, like, a fucking Blockbuster or something like that when he started writing scripts and got... because he started out as a writer first and sold some scripts, and they got made into movies, and then he made Reservoir Dogs, which was like, I don't know, very under the radar. But then Miramax, who's been a big proponent of independent filmmakers, did Pulp Fiction, and obviously that got huge. Mm-hmm. And now he's working on something else. I don't know. But anyway. So, like, those guys and several other, independent filmmakers just, like, branching up and everything. So it's a big movement now in Hollywood, independent film. And he's part of that, even though he's not at all part of that.
See, I would happily watch a documentary about any of the people you just mentioned.
Like Kevin Smith. Yeah. But that's the thing is, like, Kevin Smith's already known now, so you can't make a documentary about him. Because that's what they're trying to do. They were trying... I mean, you could make... Yeah, okay, so you make a face. Yeah, they could make a documentary about Kevin Smith now, but who the fuck cares?
But because they could talk about
David
his
Letterman
journey.
Now.
They could talk about his journey, though.
But this crew wanted... That's what I don't... Do you think documentaries should just be about already famous people? I want to see the Harrison Ford documentary. What's it like to be a struggling actor making millions of dollars in Hollywood, Mr. Ford?
I think documentaries should be about things people care about.
They want their they looked at this guy and they said, this is interesting. This guy's trying to be Quentin Tarantino or trying to be whatever. And they wanted to document his journey doing that. Or probably more accurately, Sam Raimi from our area that did a lot of the stuff. They talked about how he got a Super 8 camera and everything and started filming Super 8 movies and stuff like that. It's the exact same thing that Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi, his brother, and Bruce Campbell did around our neighborhoods in Michigan when they were younger. And then Sam Raimi made, that's another independent filmmaker that rose up too, made The Evil Dead. And that got, it became like kind of like a cult classic type thing. And he was able to make more movies, Army of Darkness and stuff like that. And now, he's in talks for some like bigger movies and stuff. He did Darkman and stuff, but he's supposed to be making some bigger movies now. I don't know. We'll see.
Another thing I don't like about this guy, he's a fucking narcissist.
That is, now he has a lot of personality flaws. And he's definitely a narcissist.
Like you said, he was in the gifted program in school. Mm-hmm. He dropped out of high school because he didn't feel that he was learning anything. So he thought he was too smart to stay in school and learn things. Mm-hmm. And then when he gets a job working in the cemetery, he's talking about, this isn't going to be a permanent thing. This is just going to be a few weekends to make some money. He's like, I'm not going to be cleaning cemeteries. Like, he thinks he's too good to work.
Yeah.
And he's living off his mother.
Yes, correct. All of that is correct. He is definitely that.
And he has all those people there ready to work for him, and he doesn't give a shit that he's wasting their time.
That's part of, a lot of people, not everyone that is like this, but a lot of people that have that kind of charm are narcissists. It takes a certain type of personality to be able to go to people and say, look, you need to all do this for me. Here's my vision. I mean, he's not literally saying that, but when he talks about his vision, this is what I want to do, and he's sharing his passion with other people, that's what it is. He's saying, look, I am the main character of this life, and you all need to be my supporting characters and help me do this. And he's getting people that agree. That a lot of times people that are that charismatic and stuff like that, because he has a certain kind of charisma and ability to marshal people. He obviously does.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how charismatic I am or am not, but I feel like if I decided tomorrow I wanted to make a movie, even if I was super passionate about it, and I went to a bunch of people I knew and I talked to people, I don't think I'd get half the amount of people he does to help me make a movie.
I don't know. You're pretty charismatic, honestly. I can literally watch you just flip the switch to turn on the charm. It's really interesting. When you got pulled over, your whole demeanor.
Oh my God! Come on.
I think you could do it.
All right. Well, anyway.
But he just got a warning, by the way, because it works.
But it's well, he was a very handsome man. It's weird though, but he definitely is narcissistic, to the core. There's another time too where he's talking about they're watching there's a lot of shots of the Packers, which is hilarious because that's so big in Wisconsin right now. Brett Favre and the fucking Packers that I hate because we're Detroit Lions fans, so they're rivals. But anyway, so there's a lot of shots of that. They're watching the Super Bowl 97, the Super Bowl that the Packers won, and he's all fucking drunk, Mark Borchard, and celebrating and stuff. Mike Schenk comes over. Now he knows that he's sober and everything, and he talks about how he won money on a scratch-off ticket or something like that, and he's like, oh. He's like, well, what are you going to do with that money or whatever? He's like, well, I gave, some to this guy, my dad or whatever. I've got some at home, and I've got $20 on me. And he's like, $20 buy 2 or 3 pitchers over at whatever, Miller's or whatever, the bar, right? And he's like, I don't want to buy beer. And he's like, I don't either, but I'd drink it if you bought it or whatever. And it's that's a very narcissistic, like,
Mm-hmm.
he knows Mike isn't drinking anymore, and he's like, come and fucking buy me beer and watch me drink beer. You have to have a fucking ego on you to even think to say something like
Yeah.
that.
And then his mom is like, I'm not driving you to the
Yeah,
bar.
because apparently he doesn't drive. I don't know.
Well, it could be that he was just so drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like she said, you've had enough today anyway. So, like, he's already so drunk she doesn't let him drive.
And then he pulls a can of beer out of the freezer. Did you notice that?
No.
It's in a case, but it's in the freezer. Like, does he? That's dangerous. They could explode in there.
Yeah, you shouldn't keep a whole case. I could see setting one in there for 10 minutes, but, that can bite you.
Yeah. Well, apparently maybe he set that case in there, and in 20 minutes it was gone.
Maybe.
Because it looked like he was taking the last can out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said something about like how, he can't stop himself from drinking or whatever. And that was like, that's alcoholism. That was my dad too. My dad, after he, still an alcoholic obviously because you are for the rest of your life. But after he was in recovery and stopped drinking alcohol, he would admit that, like, he's like, if I had 10 beers in the refrigerator, then I drank 10 beers that night. If I had a case or a case and a half, then I drank a case and a half. It was just whatever was in the house would get drank, all of it.
Wow.
He would leave nothing. That's alcoholism. So, yeah, he's got a big problem. And I think it's a cautionary tale that no matter how talented you are, no matter how smart you are, if you go into drugs and alcohol, it will destroy all of it.
Yep.
Because he, like I said, he has knowledge. He doesn't know everything, but he has a lot of good knowledge. Now, if he had taken that and gone to film school, to any decent film school, and learned some of the more intricate parts of filmmaking and everything, and some of the, I mean, he's self-taught, which is amazing that he is able to write, film, edit, and star in movies, and do the editing
And direct.
Yeah, direct and do the editing process, which is hard if you're not trained, and actually do it without anyone explaining to you how it's done. That's crazy to me. But like, if he had gone to any halfway decent film school and learned techniques and made some contacts and everything, he could have made it. He could have been a working director.
Yeah.
Even if he never made, like, even if he was never like the next Spielberg or whatever, there's something to be said about directing sitcoms, directing commercials, like working and getting paid to be a director in Hollywood. Directing anything, I mean, is a big accomplishment.
Well, you never know. He could finish Northwestern.
Yeah.
I suspect he won't
Will
for
he
like
now?
another decade. But
Here's the question. Here's the question now. This notoriety that he's getting now, or he will get, or whatever. Like, I mean, the movie just came out, but not like it's doing super well or anything. But imagining that he is exposed to a lot more people than he was just hanging out in Wisconsin. Will that open doors for him that were previously closed? Will that give him opportunities? Because it's a lot harder to make a movie in your backyard in the woods in Wisconsin or whatever with a bunch of people you cobble together and stuff like that. It's a lot harder to do that than it is to go to a studio and have everything you need right there.
yeah.
So, like, will that open doors for him that allows him to actually make the movie he wants to make?
We'll see.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching Coven. I wouldn't watch it if it's marketed as Coven. Somebody tried to tell him too. And I mean, I don't care how intelligent you are, you don't know how to pronounce Coven. God damn it.
The biggest, like, I don't even know. I think his name was Tony. I don't even know how to describe this guy. Like, he was like if what's his name? Fuck. I can't think of his name now. He was in Marathon Man. Very, very famous British actor. Like when you talk about great actors, he's one of the first names that comes to mind. But it's like him in the body of just some random moron. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but he has the attitude of like, I am a great English actor and listen to my voice. Like he talks like that and everything, but he's just a ham. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, well, how would you pronounce it? He's like, well, Coven. That's the way it's properly pronounced, And he's like, no, Coven sounds like oven. What?
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Coven. Oh, they're in the Coven, huh? There's a bunch of witches in the Coven over there, huh? Why don't you go to the fair and get a nice corn tortilla and
Oh my God.
some grilled chicken, huh?
Yeah, we're in Michigan.
Yeah.
So we can't make too much fun, but
we
are in Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
So
you go up north in Michigan, you start to hear that accent more and more.
Exactly.
And more. But I loved the movie. I thought it was incredibly entertaining. I think everything about it. I agree. He is a severely flawed human being. But I think that's part of the appeal of it too, is to see just human frailty and on full display, and he is completely ignorant of it. He has no self-reflection. He cannot assess himself in any way.
yeah.
And he has no clue what his deficiencies are. He feels like he is a brilliant filmmaker that the world is just against him, basically. And it's just a matter of time before he breaks through. And he has talent, but he has a lot of work to do if he wants to actually make it in this business, and he has no concept of that at all.
I don't know. I wonder what will happen.
It's going to be interesting. I will definitely try to follow his career or lack thereof. But that is the episode for the week. Carol, tell people where they can find their own catharsis.
You can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.